Brendan Brisson and Akira Schmid shine in VGK's preseason win over the Avalanche last night, 6-1 in Denver. Our recap comes your way next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Start this season off with a big return at America's #1 sportsbook. So, Chris, I know it's preseason, but Brendan Brisson is going to make it very difficult, I feel, for VGK to send him down to the AHL level next week. Brisson played well in the first period last night against the Avalanche, especially. He had a goal, plus he added an assist in the third period. And Akira Schmid played very well. He really gave up that first goal early, and then he settled down, and he plays very well, has good technique, especially inside of the blue paint. He's just a massive human being, and I just like the way he played last night, and he's going to be a solid number 3.
Yeah, no, the TNT did a good job of showing the entire broadcast without buffering yesterday. But it was good. I mean, starting in the net, obviously, with Schmid, he's calm. He's collected. He's that big body that limits his motions, but he seems to be a little bit more in control than a Samsonov. I'm not knocking Samsonov. I'm just talking about the differences in the two goaltenders, and certainly going to be a very good netminder to have in the VGK system. I mean, again, we're talking someone right now that is all of 24 years old, going to make $875 for this year and next year. It sounds like we got our Logan Thompson replacement already. So it's good. I mean, this is obviously, we talked about this in the broad air many times leading up to this season and last season. The Golden Knights didn't put any trust into Yuri Patera. As a result, Logan and Aiden got burned out at times. Now maybe this could be different. The Golden Knights might have, and again, it's preseason, let's relax a little bit here, but they might have 3 very comparable netminders right now. And history repeats itself with Aiden Hill. They're all going to be needed. Maybe it won't. Maybe this is the year Aiden's nice and healthy. But if he's not, the Golden Knights might be in a better spot than they were last season. It's not a knock on Logan Thompson. I'm making sure I'm being careful here. It's simply that the Golden Knights now have 3 quality goaltenders to move around.
I thought Schmid, yes, looked very comfortable. Him on McKinnon. McKinnon went up high, and it was a nice shoulder save that he made in that game. Second period, he made a few nice sequences where he made some really good, excellent saves. Belmar,
he was good in the Sharks game too. He played half that game, right?
Yeah. Belmar in the third period. He made another key stop.
I miss Belmar. It was nice seeing him, wasn't it?
You know what? It's great to see Belmar. It's great that they even interviewed him. And right now, I guess they're going to have 3 spots open due to injuries there in Colorado. And I think that Belmar might make that club, at least early on. So that's great news. He was one of the nicer guys here in Vegas. I really liked him. And
64% in the faceoff circle last night, too. That's what I liked about him.
Yeah, you liked that faceoff circle. I liked this line of Brabanitz with Ashton Reese, Zach Ashton Reese, who had 2 goals, and Dorofeev. They were buzzing last night. I really enjoyed that line. I liked the makeup of it. I liked the chemistry of that line.
From a general perspective, I enjoyed the net front presence last night. You saw a lot of goals from just on top of the paint. You saw pucks being knocked out in midair right in front of the goalie in the first power play goal. You got a real nice screen on Georgiev, who stayed in for all 6 Vegas Golden Knights goals last night. Not sure what the Avs coach is doing there, but that's on him to figure out, not us to worry about. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like about last night's game. A point I guess I want to make, we talked about this on the podcast. I thought the goal lines were going to be about, I don't know, plus 210, plus 200 underdogs, making the Avalanche minus 250. It actually closed at minus 310 for the Avalanche. So if you bet VGK, you got a nice little payday yesterday. And the interesting thing, like, games are storylines. Could be hockey, could be football. It doesn't matter. There's always a storyline to be had. What I thought the storyline going into this game was the Silver Knight kids basically going in there and getting crushed by the Avalanche vets. Well, the storyline turned out it was the hungry Vegas Golden Knights kids going against the rusty Avalanche vets, just looking to get their reps and things like that. So if you can figure out that storyline going into it, guys, there's a lot of money to be made in sports betting. But unfortunately, these nice, beautiful sports books didn't get built on those constantly winning bets either. So yeah, maybe we all missed one last night. Maybe we didn't. I don't know.
Preseason hockey, yeah, take that shot, man. Go to bed.
I tried once. I think the Blue Jackets were like plus 260 against Buffalo. I'm like, no team should ever be this big of an underdog in the preseason, and it turned out Buffalo won like 6-1 or something.
Yeah,
the reverse of VGK.
Also on that line, that I was just talking about, Branston with that turnover last night. Brabanitz is stopped by Alexander Georgiev, and then Ashton Reese just stayed active and finished off the play for a score for VGK. Oh,
Eric Branstrom, there's a familiar name, Tony. That's an original VGK draft pick.
I threw his name out there. Just
it's his third. Okay. It's his third team already.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody's absolutely evil in putting Robert Haig, Hagg, and Nick Haig as a defensive pairing last night.
I love it.
That's pretty funny. I was happy too for Joe Fleming, our guy Joe Fleming.
Fleming. I knew you were happy about that one.
Oh, his parents were there. I thought it was really cool.
Oh, I know that. That's nice.
This was the first time he's ever dressed up for an NHL game, albeit preseason. The parents were there in Denver. He scored a goal, and he hit the post one other time. Oh my gosh, that dime though of a pass by Brisson. Holy smokes! We'll talk.
Well, it was nice and
sticks or not.
I like the replay where they showed Brisson's path going from behind the net, dropping the puck back, finding the puck, and then finding Fleming. It was a good play. And then Brisson's goal, obviously, again, going to the dirty areas, and the puck just kind of finds you right there. I want to talk about Dorofeev a little bit. I don't know if that was on your napkin or not, but I put out last night, what I say, we have the Eichel Doro Stone, hashtag Eichel Doro Stone.
Doro Stone.
Eichel Doro Stone. One word, one hashtag.
You got a bromance with Dorofeev.
Fair enough. No, listen, I noticed this at the game that me and Chris went to. Dorofeev was doing a lot of what Jack Eichel does. He's carrying that puck, using his long reach to shield the puck. He's able to get speed without taking his feet up off the ice and taking steps, just making little C cuts and almost like little ski motions to kind of speed up. I'll allow Mario Lemieux, if we don't go back a long way here. But point being is Dorofeev is now able to carry the puck while the other players kind of get open. But he also, I saw last night for the first time, I won't say relentless forecheck, but again, using that long reach to get back and doing a lot of the things that Mark Stone does out there on the back check and on the forecheck and everything. So, and plus the nose for the nets. So you're seeing the evolution, if you will, of a Dorofeev's game, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I've been eyeing him for about the last 3 years. Everything lines up well for him to have a nice season. So it's going to be exciting. I mean, the storylines, we said this was going to be a fun camp, Tony. Say anything you want about the offseason. We knew this was going to be a very interesting camp with storylines, and there's more storylines than we thought there were going to be. I mean, Zach Ashton Reach, I was laughing about that signing. He's looking good out there. He's making a case. We'll talk all about all that in the second segment, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Also making a case was, I guess, the new outfitter for Kelly McCrimmon with the Paisley tie last night between periods.
I didn't catch that interview. Anything noteworthy in that?
Yeah, we'll talk about it in the next segment. Okay. It's just standard talked a lot about, guess who, the Tanners, and he talked about Holtz, and he talked about Olofsson. Those are the guys that he's just going to bat for. Lazinski, 2 more points. Him and McKinnon hit the puck at the same time while it was in the air. And so I'd give McKinnon an assist on the goal.
Perfect.
But yeah, it was great. Good to see him and very active in front of the net. Georgiev, I didn't realize this, okay? Alexander Georgiev of the Avs, last 2 seasons, most wins, 40 and 38. What the heck is he doing playing these kind of minutes in the preseason? I think he just really has a love for the game. I really do think that he just likes to play.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I wonder how much he loved playing 60 minutes of a preseason game and giving up 6 goals. If I'm him, I'm wondering why
What am I
he's still
doing
out
here?
there. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. So no hangover for VGK coming back from the ranch.
well,
So, and they left
yes
yesterday.
and no.
Too.
There probably was a hangover, but the guys with the hangover didn't make the trip.
Yeah. Well, okay. Good point. But VGK left yesterday, the day of the game, went up there, played, and then came right back. So
It's nothing that the ECHL and AHLers aren't used to.
we better get to know the Avalanche, for crying out loud. We're playing them at least twice, 2 out of the next.
Yeah, we know how
3
Thursday
games.
is going to go. It's going to be interesting.
It will be interesting. Coming up next, we will know who gets cut for VGK pretty soon. 6 more players need to be moved. We'll talk about that next when we return on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Gametime is our favorite go-to app to get all the tickets that we want and need. And it also has a new feature called Gametime Picks. It makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks will filter out all of the fluff. It'll show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching for thousands of tickets. They have some great promotions as well. You need to check it out. Some of the great examples of things that you could find on the Gametime app. They have curated deals. It makes it easier to find the best price on great seats. They have something called the Super Deal, which you need to check out daily. Seat views before you buy, the lowest price guarantee. They've got event cancellation protection, job loss protection, which is all so interesting and good. And all-in pricing, I have to remind everyone that you must turn on this feature, and you will get a chance to check out with all-in pricing. You have a toggle switch. You do that, and it shows you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Lowest price guarantee or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app today. You can create an account. Use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account. Use the redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it, Golick? Gametime.
Gametime.
Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. A very special shout out has to go to the folks of Singapore. So, USA, Canada, Singapore. This is great. Why would we be so popular in Singapore, Mr. Golick? Because I can't speak English at 6:00 in the morning? You think?
Sure, exactly.
Maybe they understand me over there. I don't get it, but it's cool. Thank you so much. Of course, Fridays are WTF Day. Saturdays, the Chris and Chris Jr. Show. That's the YouTube exclusive. Kelly McCrimmon wouldn't commit last night to saying Brendan Brisson has won a roster spot even after that stellar performance in the first period. All he said was that he could take advantage of opportunity. So this is the way that they're framing it in VGK land. You have opportunities. That's going to be the buzzword moving forward. Opportunities. You'll hear a lot about that with the VGK. But we want to talk about some of the big cuts coming up and who stays up with the VGK man, this is getting really difficult, I believe, for VGK to make that decision on Brisson, because he's not hurt his chances any in camp, has he? I think he's more or less. I think he's definitely at an advantage. He's got a great opportunity with VGK, I think.
Brisson, definitely. Brisson, Holtz, I mean, they're all the same right now. We see which one pops when the regular season starts if they get that opportunity. I know everyone's in love with everything happening right now, and they should be. It's exciting. This is the first training camp where there's been this many storylines going back to season number 1. We knew it was going to be a lot of fun, and it's more fun than we could have thought it was going to be. So that's a really good thing right now. So let's look at reality for a second. Right now, the Golden Knights have about $330,000 in salary cap space. Now, Robin Lehner, $5 million. That obviously is going to change things right now. No, that doesn't change things. I'm sorry. The Golden Knights right now, $300 and something thousand of cap space. They signed Willem Kamek. I hope I said that name correctly. Obviously, he's going to get sent down. Right now, his cap is counting against the Vegas Golden Knights. So long story short, the Golden Knights have $300,000 plus another $2.7 million to work with. So right now, there's roughly $3 million in cap space to work with if the Golden Knights were to send down Brisson and Holtz. Why does that matter? Because, well, at the moment, Tanner Laczynski, his payroll is not hitting the Vegas Golden Knights. If Laczynski is going to make this team, that's going to be another. Laczynski currently makes $775,000 bargain. People are talking about Zach Aston Reese. If Reese is going to make this team, that's also $775,000. Tanner Pearson is not on the books yet. I'm assuming his contract would be south of $1 million. So if the Tanners are going to be on the Vegas Golden Knights, there has to be some movement at the moment. Right now, the Golden Knights are 24 of 23 roster spots. They are over by one preseason. Who cares about that? The one who will make it 23 is when they figure something out with Kamek. So that's 23 of 23 roster spots. Okay. If the Tanners make the team, it's pretty simple. Brisson and Holtz go down. End of story.
Okay, could Ron Bjork go down? Could Rod Bjork be sent back
well, yes,
down?
He could, but he has to clear waivers.
Okay.
And I think Ron Bjork gets claimed.
Yeah, that's interesting. He could be on the fence. No? What are your thoughts?
I think he's on the fence right now. I mean, you look at what this is where Tanner Pearson, because we're talking about that fourth line winger role right now. Now, there is a big monkey wrench in all of this, and it's your favorite player, Tony William Karlsson. Again, I'm not completely trusting at all that Karlsson is going to be skating by Friday and be out there opening night. I hope I'm wrong. I hope everyone can say, "Oh, Golick, you were off on that one." And William Karlsson gets 2 goals, and he cements the hat trick with an empty net at the end of the game. Tony, I hope that happens. That would be absolutely wonderful if that happened next Wednesday night. If that doesn't happen, and if there's a scenario, again, this is Vegas Golden Knights land here, injuries happen. If there's a path to either IR or LTIR for William Karlsson, that changes the game completely. That changes the game completely. The Golden Knights can sign Pearson, no questions asked. Ron Bjork, then maybe, that buys him some time before he might wind up getting sent down on waivers. They'll maybe do it with the intent of reporting to the American League, but I think someone were to claim him. So a lot of moving parts right now. It kind of starts with William Karlsson, I think, at the moment, as crazy as that sounds.
That's where the dominoes are going to fall. I have to agree with you there.
The BLTs are going to fall, Tony. Come on, wake up.
It's BLT because there's only one of those misfits remaining. It used to be BLTs.
Well, there's like 6 sandwiches lined up on the table, though.
Okay, well, he's going to have to knock them all out himself because Smith is gone and Marchessault's gone. I want to talk about.
That was a good up and back right there. That was good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Okay, so Zach Aston Reese, does he stick with his team for starters too? Fourth line left winger. He's definitely there, like for the taking. This is an interesting move. I don't know if they're going to keep him up with the big team, but again, a lot of these fellas are making a really good case to stay up with the parent club.
So rank these players, I guess, is the way to do this exercise.
Number 1, number 4, and number 15.
Yes, exactly. A Naked Gun right there when he says pick a number and he starts saying numbers instead of grabbing the ticket. Naked Gun 33 and a third, I believe. Zach Aston Reese, Tanner Lazinski, Tanner Pearson. Just 1, 2, 3. Who's shown you the most? I know Reese is going to have a little recency bias, but I don't think he's number one. I think it goes Lazinski, Pearson, Reese in that order.
You got to go the two Tanners, right, for sure. And then I think it would be Ashton Reese. But wow. So they're going to have to, it's very interesting.
Now add Holtz and Brisson to those rankings. How do you rank them?
Yeah, no kidding. And I think Brisson he's jumped over Holtz. I believe so.
Here's the issue that we talk here. The storyline leading up to the offseason for the Vegas Golden Knights here. Lack of depth on the wings, right? Although Marchessault, Amadio, Stevenson leaving is a BLT effect, and Will Carrier and all that. So the Golden Knights brought in replacements in Olofsson, in Holtz, possibly Pearson, and then obviously the camp battles and everything. The Golden Knights they have to make a decision right now. If you have Holtz and Brisson up to open the season, you're going to compromise that depth possibly. Now, the nice thing is, I don't know how Lazinski's contract works, because right now he's on cap wages. He is listed on the non-roster spot. So my assumption with Lazinski is I don't know if he's going to have to go through any type of waivers, or if he can go right to the AHL, or if the Golden Knights will have to, put him on waivers to send him down to clear through and everything. The Golden Knights, where I'm going with this long run on sentence, the Golden Knights can keep their depth by opening the season with Brisson and Holtz in the American League. And then you see what happens. There's going to be injuries. Things are going to happen. We've talked about, I think Mark Sloan's going to have a healthy year, but there's no data to suggest that besides a hunch right now. William Karlsson, who knows what's going on there. Dorofeev has had trouble staying healthy. Eichel hasn't played more than 67 games in the last 2 seasons. Olofsson, who knows what's going to happen there. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity. So if the Golden Knights were to take a conservative route, you start with Brisson and Holtz in the American League. That gives you a path for Pearson. That gives you a path for Lazinski. And now you got a lot more experience on what was slated to be a more inexperienced roster.
Okay. I want to talk about Mr. Paisley Park. Okay, so McCrimmon is on there between the second and third periods. The question that they start off with was, how difficult was it to say goodbye to guys who had great success in Las Vegas?
I can imagine the
Marchessault,
want to hear this,
and Stevenson, and then McSee.
Was it a VGK interview? Was it a VGK person doing the interview?
No, this was TNT. Wait,
okay.
Just stick with me here.
Yeah.
He doesn't answer that question, okay? It goes into the opportunities. He adds Will Carrier. Says that there's really
he misses Carrier more than any of those guys, huh?
I think he didn't want to mention his name because he doesn't know how to pronounce it, but he's stuck with his guns there. And he doesn't even acknowledge the loss of those two, just again, that there's going to be opportunities. And he talks specifically about Victor Olofsson, Alexander Holtz,
the free agent signings by Kelly McCrimmon,
Tanner PTO Pearson. And he says change is good for Holtz, like Waugh, Stevenson, and Howden. Okay, the interview is over. There is at the 14-minute mark of period number 3. No, VGK never plants a thing, never plants a stinking thing. Someone drops a note in the announcer's booth. I don't know if you caught this or not. McCrimmon's gone, leaves the booth. 14 minutes to go in the game, and they get a note that says, McCrimmon said to make sure that you mention Hanifin. Okay, I'm done. Mic drop. What is going?
Wait, what?
Yeah, make sure he tells the announcers to make sure that they mention the acquisition of Hanifin, because they talked about Hurdle. They talked about all those other guys. make sure that you mention Hannafin's name as, a standout acquisition or whatever. But they dropped the napkin and the announcers complied. Oh boy, this is going to be entertaining. This will be fun. This will be fun. But
It's not like a Dasco special
why,
there.
why can't you acknowledge Marchessault and Stevenson? Come on. Like these guys, he would not have a job. He would not have a job if not for the players that left his team. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm as critical about the offseason as anybody, but at some point, I don't know. He's moving forward. He's moving forward.
He moved forward. He moved forward a long time ago. He moved. He
moved forward July 2nd, but yeah.
Well, no.
Actually, he moved forward
June
May 27th, but yeah.
Well, June
27th.
Okay.
Sorry, but yeah.
Okay. Don't forget, coming up next,
22.
we will talk about Robin Lehner. Oh boy. We'll get to that when we return right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. We want to talk to you about FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official partner of Locked On Golden Knights. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. There are a lot of props up for Thursday night's NFL game. The Falcons are -1.5 over the Buccaneers, and the total on this game is 43 and a hook. And you will get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your $5 bet, your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Go to FanDuel.com. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We appreciate you doing so. Fridays are WTF, and hopefully we'll get some WTFs from Singapore. That would be pretty cool. And on Saturdays, sometimes, it is the Chris and Chris Jr. show on Saturdays. That is the YouTube exclusive. Chris, are you awake? Everything good? Okay. All right, man.
Look at my phone. Sorry, I have a bad habit when I do my my card shows and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I have a front-facing camera. It's smaller, but it's still a front-facing camera. And there's times I'll look at the computer, type some stuff up really fast, but I'm really still when I do it. And everyone thinks, "Hey, is your camera frozen? What's up?" Dude? Like, no, I'm just working for a second. So that's what just happened there. I was deep in some business.
All right. NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly says yesterday that he expects to release more news and information on Robin Lehner's situation. And that's pretty soon, hopefully by the end of this week. They got to do this very soon. We found out late last week that Robin Lehner might not have shown up for his mandatory medical exam, perhaps because we used to call them Shylocks, loan sharks. They would show up at your door if you owed them money, right? Perhaps because he didn't want creditors to take the money, the nearly $5 million that is owed to him this season. Read so many comments. This Aliyah Growth Fund, they said that Lehner fraudulently obtained a $4.8 million loan just days before his bankruptcy was announced. They talk about a 15-month spree where he goes on these exquisite family vacations, and they talk about gambling. And he was granted, Robin Lehner, last week, an injunction to freeze all of his assets. So what do you think the NHL will do in this situation? Do they just place him back on the LTIR? They send him a check and that's that? How will they resolve this? Because it's a very sticky situation.
Two moving parts. One, how does Robin Lehner get paid for the season or his credit? However that's going to happen, who cares? None of our business. But that's the first moving part. As far as the VGK side, I think since day one when all this crap broke that it's going to be a non-starter, whether somehow Lehner is completely off the books, LTIR, and do they have whatever they have a pup list like they do in the NFL or something. Like, I don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but I don't see any of this negatively impacting the Vegas Golden Knights. It could be positive in the sense that somehow Lehner's name is no longer even listed on the website, on the roster, is what I was ultimately getting at. So who knows? I mean, it's just, I feel, I mean, I know it's tough not to crack a joke about this, and I laugh and I do it too, but it's tough watching all this play outs on the media and everything, and seeing all these facts about his personal life coming to light and everything. And seems like a terrible situation. Dude obviously needs some help, and got himself in some very poor situations. And I guess from the hockey side, I wonder what the Vegas Golden Knights did to, help him through all of this, when he was an active member, if you will, of the team. I know there's obviously assistance programs. Lehner has been in it before. Were the Golden Knights completely supportive through that? I hope so. I imagine they probably were. And you also don't know how much Robin was communicating with the Vegas Golden Knights when he was an active member with the team. But end of the day, you hope everything is going to turn out well for him and his family. It's really ugly, and I think the tougher days are ahead. I mean, dude's a hockey player, right? Dude's a hockey player. He can't play hockey. He can't get paid. Dude was a hockey player that kind of still is employed by a National Hockey League team. How's the guy going to make money in a couple of years? Like, how's that going to shake out? That's when it doesn't matter whether it's whether you have a job, a regular job, and or if you're a professional athlete, when all that changes and you got to go back to work and all that, it's kind of like Rocky V playing out again. I don't know.
Yeah, I never bought into some of the narratives that Lehner was throwing out there. For starters, the Aaliyah Growth Fund, they did stop short of calling him a snake, but he did kind of snake him. I think that
hence the jokes we can't avoid cracking every now and then.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. No, he put himself in this position. No one else did.
No doubt.
And I think, another big option would be to void his contract entirely. Right. I mean,
listen, it's whatever the NHL says at this point in the NHLPA. And, I don't know. I don't think this is going to, whether he was on LTIR or gone, not listed anywhere on the roster or anything like that. The outcome is the same. The Golden Knights are going to have $5 million in cap space to work with, which realistically, present time is about $300,000. Obviously, it's going to grow once some moves get made. But yeah, I mean, it's been a non-starter since, I won't say day one, since about, a month ago when all this broke. So yeah, I mean, it should work itself out, whether Lehner gets that $5 million, whether his creditors get that $5 million, or however that's going to work out. Someone's going to get that money somewhere. Or maybe Foley gets to save $4.8 million. I think it was actually, the cap hit was $5 million and the physical money was 4.8.
I was just handed a note.
Oh God!
Crimmins said, "Do not talk about Robin Lehner." He said, "Don't do it." Okay. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much.
I'm sure many on the inside have that note, but I'm not on the inside, so I never got that note.
We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you again, especially to our everydayers. On Fridays, it's WTF Day. On Saturdays, it is the Chris and Chris Jr. Show. Again, make sure that you go to our YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. Please subscribe there. For my man, Chris Golick, it is. Did you get handed a note too? For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And don't cut me off, Golick. Please take care.